There are many artists in the Pokemon TCG, and it's my goal to cover as many as I can so I can help you, the viewer, determine who you should collect for your collection, whether it be expensive or inexpensive. As long as it makes you happy, that's all that matters to me. Recently, my channel's been on a roll, so if you enjoy the content, please make sure you leave a like on the video and let me know in the comments who you'd like to see reviewed next. What's that? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm getting reports. I have actually two different pretty cool events. Let's just get started with the first one. The Daunter Collects channel has officially reached 200 subscribers. This is a pretty crazy milestone that I didn't think was in reach for the year. I was honestly just hoping for 100. That was my like goal a little while ago. But yeah, I hit 200 subscribers. I'm probably gonna make a dedicated video just to me hitting 200 subs, but I don't have anything prepared right now, unfortunately, because I wasn't expecting this. So, yeah. But this is a milestone that I did not think was in reach. I'm really thankful for everybody's support. It's been really fun just interacting and like attempting to cultivate a community where we can all just talk about like what artworks we like and like what we like to do with like Pokemon cards. So I thank everybody for that. Anyways, I was getting reports of something else pretty crazy, so let's get to that. Budew, the Pokemon that hasn't been featured for 16 years, has been revealed for a new Scarlet and Violet set. That's crazy. I looked on Pokebeach.com this morning and spotted an artist that I instantly recognized for their lush environments, warming Pokemon, and being the illustrator Yoriyuki Ikegami. This card is a pretty big deal. I mean, it's only the third Budew card that we've ever received, and the last one was in Diamond Pearl storefront, released all the way back in November 5th, 2008, making this card 16 years overdue, almost on the dot, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, to me, it makes perfect sense that the illustrator would be Ikegami, as their artwork captures this perfect beauty that nature has to it, and I'll begin to explain my criteria so we can just get on with it, so to say. First, plants. Second, Pokemon choices. And third, the vibe of their cards. Firstly, we have the plants that are always featured in their cards. I mean, for example, let's take one of the most plant-filled Pokemon cards I've ever seen in my life, the Gardenia's Vigor full art from Crown Zenith. This card has so many different plants, of all different kinds of shapes, sizes, and colors, to the point where I didn't even notice the Pokemon in the card. There's Cherubi, Cherim, and Blossom. Because there are just so many plants in the card, it's so hard to see anything. I really like how soft the plants feel, just the colors of everything is really nice as well. Something that you'll also notice in this card is that I'm pretty sure that in the bottom left of the card, it's Ivysaur's plant, which is also a pretty cool detail. There are just so many different plants in this card that it's almost overwhelming, but in a good way. Your eyes are just drawn to all the different plants, which makes it eye-catching and interesting. And next, we'll talk about the Venusaur EX SIR from 151. This card, once again, is filled with many different kinds of plants, but something interesting to note on this card is that some of the plants have different colored outline. For instance, I see a few with green outlines, some red, some orange, and pink, which makes all the plants separate from each other in order to not blend in too much with everything. The card has a really awesome sense of nature with all the plants around. This illustration is eye-catching as well, not to mention gorgeous on all fronts. Anyways, let's move on to our next point, which will be a bit quicker hopefully. You'll notice from the scrolling screen in the background that many of the Pokemon that Ikegami is given, or chooses, I don't really know how it works, are primarily grass types, which feeds into the way of sprucing up and spicing up the cards with their signature plants. It's a really smart way to do it, because the Pokemon is just one part of the card. The way that the illustrator can make the Pokemon expressive is the other aspect of the card, and Ikegami does a wonderful job expressing where the Pokemon is, and the plants only add to the qualities of the grass Pokemon's environment. For example, in their Executor card from Paldean Fates, we can clearly see that the Executor is prancing around a densely packed forest, with trees, vines, and overgrown plants, which is a perfect environment for a tree-like Pokemon like Executor. Another Pokemon perfect for the environment in the card is Shroomish, due to it being a mushroom surrounded by a bunch of different kinds of mushrooms. It's also a nice detail that there are at least 4 or 5 uniquely different mushrooms. It makes the area seem so much more lively than if it was just one kind of mushroom. Finally, we'll talk about the vibe of Ikegami's illustrations, which I personally feel the best word to describe them would be warmth, because their illustrations always make the Pokemon feel and look like they're living their best lives, which I really appreciate. Of course we get many illustrations where Pokemon are happy living their lives, or just having fun, but just the enjoyment of nature makes me happy for these cards. They just bring joy in my opinion. Just look at the Budu card that I mentioned earlier. Look at how freaking happy that guy is. How could he ever hate his life? I really love Ikegami's vibe, as they always know how to capture that feeling of warmth and wonder that Pokemon cards should emanate. My top 5 favorite cards from Ikegami are in no particular order, but I have to say that I really like the Meowstic from Surging Sparks. I really love the bright pink and purple flowers around the Pokemon, and I really like its expression. The surprised look is perfect for Meowstic, and the flowers enhance the Pokemon. It helps me focus on it a little bit more. Next, I have the Parasect from 151. I really love how it's hiding away in the shadows, with the sunlight peeking just in the distance. I like how the little spores are around the Pokemon, with those simple leaves and a nice looking tree. The vibe of this one is really nice. Next, we have the Combi from Paldea Evolved. Personally, I've always really loved Vespiquen, and I like how one of the faces of Combi looks intrigued, while the other two just smile happily forwards. And I like how the yellow and pink flowers are deeply in the background of this card. It adds to that feeling of this Combi traversing along. Next, we have the Gardenia's Vigor talked about previously. I really love the hidden Pokemon on this card, but also being the only trainer card that Ikegami worked on, I have to give it props for that. I like how Gardenia has this teeny watering can in a huge field of flowers. It shows that she probably really cares for them deeply, which is an awesome feeling. Finally, I really love the whole Venusaur evolution line from 151, but the Bulbasaur has to be my favorite. I love the fact that the Pokemon is sleeping in the midst of all these plants, and the lily pads, with the water droplets landing on the pads. It also adds a lot to the card. There's a serious serenity about this card that I just can't quite explain, but I appreciate endlessly. Anyways, that was Yoriyuki Ikegami, an artist that I previously hadn't thought to explore, but the reveal of the new Budu card fueled my fire to create a video all about this artist. I really enjoy this artist a lot. Their addition of plants into the Pokemon TCG's artwork will always keep me excited for the next Ikegami card. Anyways all, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And oh yeah, make sure you remember to subscribe if you like these Pokemon art reviews. Catch you in the next one. Peace.